Welcome back. No, welcome back to That Is Effing Weird. We are going to be talking about AI today and a little bit about the history, implications of it, and where it's going to be in the future. Just the reason why we're bringing this up, or a topic that I wanted to talk about, was because I've seen a lot of posts on Reddit lately, just kind of grilling AI. Maybe not grilling it, but you know um, really taking a look at it and just seeing how fast it's developing. Because obviously, if you know anything about AI, it can problem solve for itself and it can develop really fast. I mean, just look at cell phones, and how they've developed over. Because I think, shit, when I was in high school, people were still rocking flip phones, and that was 10 years ago, roughly. I'm not going to say the exact number, but 10 years ago we were just using flip phones. Now look at it to where phones are now. We have AI developed within them within 10 years, and we're going to get into it. But AI's been around for a minute. I didn't know how long it's been around, but yeah, it's pretty crazy how fast the AI is moving and everything. So we're going to do a little bit of a dive into it. Most of the stuff that I'm going to be reading from is from articles. So if you want to go to these articles, read them yourself. I'll make sure I drop them in the description, and then also too, I'll try to do my best to pronounce every one of the websites. You know me, I'm terrible at reading and pronouncing stuff, but nevertheless, let's get into it. So I think a good place to start is what exactly. Oh, and my apologies. I'm Stevenson LongBotom. You guys know that, so I felt like I didn't have to do an intro and tell you guys who I am. But Stevenson LongBotom here, giving you guys all that good, juicy information as always. So let's get into it. The history of AI. So this is from tableau.com. Again, I probably messed up. It's probably tableau.com, but I'm going to pronounce it tableau.com. So they have a really good page on kind of it breaks down artificial intelligence and kind of what it is, where it came from, and some different things. We're gonna be reading a little bit about it. We're gonna be hopping around to, again, some different articles, because there's a lot of stuff out there, and then we're actually gonna use AI to tell us about what AI is up to, or gonna get up to in the future. We're also gonna probably drop some of those Reddit audio things that I've been seeing, because a lot of them are really interesting too. But I'm jabbling, just talking out my ass right now. So all right, back into it. Okay, so what exactly is AI? I think it's important to know the definition of what AI is, and what it's, what is a broad spectrum. What is AI? So it's a specialty within a computer science that is concerned with creating systems that can replicate human intelligence and problem-solving abilities. They do this by taking in a myriad of data, processing it, and learning from their past in order to streamline and improve in the future. A normal computer program would not, or would need, human interference in order to fix bugs and improve processes. So again, that's the definition of AI, which, I mean, I feel like that's kind of self-explanatory, but again, it's a replicate human intelligence and problem-solving abilities. And it's really interesting to see how it problem solves and how fast it can problem solve in learning from its mistakes. I think one of the biggest issues that humans have is not learning from their mistakes. And the fact that this artificial intelligence can learn from its mistakes and then try not to replicate that is huge. I think that's a flaw that humans have, is we tend to repeat mistakes even when we learn from it. Like touching a hot surface. Can't tell you how many times, just cooking, I know the surface is hot, but sometimes I'll touch it. I don't think AI would do that. It would know that it's hot, needs to wait. So it's really cool that it can do that it just, learns from its mistakes. That's huge. And then not repeat it. I don't know if it's not repeating it, but you would think that AI if it's learned something that it's not good or bad, or it's not counterintuitive, then, or it is counterintuitive, then it would not repeat those mistakes. So the history of artificial intelligence, reading on, the idea of artificial intelligence goes back thousands of years. Okay, that's okay. To ancient philosophers considering questions of life and death. In ancient times, inventors made things called automatons. Automatons? Oh, that sounds right. Which were mechanical and moved independently of human intervention. The word automaton. Yeah, I know, I sound like an idiot, but that's how I have to speak. It comes from the ancient Greece, which means acting on one's own will. Okay. One of the earliest recordings of automaton comes from 400 BCE and refers to a mechanical penguin created by a friend of the philosopher Plato. Many years later, one of the most famous automatons were created by Leonardo da Vinci around the early 1495. All right. Well, okay. Yes and no. I mean, okay, so artificial intelligence, is that, to me, that's I don't know if you could really consider that to be. I mean, if you look at definitions, okay, yeah, it's acting on one's own will, and then you get into the question like, okay, well, is AI, does it really exist? Is it really like a thing? Like, because humans, we say we have a soul, so it's one of those things where it's like, okay, is it really acting on one's own will? Because if you were to just set it there and not do anything, it's not going to do anything. I'm going to assume that you have to crank this thing or turn it in a way, and then it would start moving. But I almost feel like the same thing with like AI. It needs human intervention. Like it needs energy from someplace, and we're giving it that energy, whether it be solar power or a battery, just whatever it is, we are still intervening with. So is it? That's a tough one. I think I didn't realize that this was gonna be, me scratching my head at this and thinking about, is it really? I don't know. I just feel like this is gonna be one of those conversations where it's gonna be like, well, is it really? Like, is it really smarter than humans? Is it really? Because, like, okay, perfect example is, and this is a huge controversy too, especially in the art subreddits and everything like that. When people post AI art, people are always like, well, it's not art. And you could argue like, okay, well, technically it is. I guess technically it's not. I mean, you're giving a prompt to AI to create something, and it does. So is it really art? I mean, and that's another question. Is art is subjective? It's whatever you perceive it to be. You know what I mean? Like, there's some weird art museums. I think King of the Hill is one of, like, makes fun of art sometimes, and it's I think one of them is like Hank Hill's colon, and he's all backed up and everything like that, but it's in an art museum, and people are like, ooh, but it's true though. It's like, okay, some people may think that, like, there's performance art, there's like music is art. So when AI is creating this stuff, is it really art? Is it not art? So I think this is going to be a tough conversation. Maybe not tough conversation, but a tough kind of like, is it really? And it's one of those, I think it's always going to be kind of left up to the person to decide whether, it is or it isn't, especially when it comes to art. But like this, the word automaton comes from the ancient automaton. I'm an idiot. When I said it like that, it makes automaton. God. All right, comes from the Greek word, which means acting on one's own will. I don't know. We're gonna skip that one because I feel like we could talk about that for the next 30 minutes. We gotta keep this train moving. So the groundwork for AI, I guess, took place from the 1900s to the 1950s. Just a couple of timelines here. 1921. let's see here, released a science fiction play which introduced the idea of artificial people, which were named robots. This was the first known use of the word, which is, oh, okay. It sounds like a Czech playwright, Karl Kapek, released a science fiction play. Interesting. So he coined, I guess, the word robots, artificial people, in 1921. 1929, Japanese professor Makoto, I'm not going to even try the last name, built the first Japanese robot. Okay. In 1921, geez. 1929. And then in 1949, computer science Edmund Callis Berkeley published the book Giant Brains, or Mechanics That Think, which compared the newer models of computers to human brains. Okay, so there's that comparison. And now we have the birth of AI, which happened in 1950 through 1956. Alan Turing published computer mechanic. Jeez. I can't read. It's too early in the morning. He published a book, okay, which proposed a test of machine intelligence called inanimate games. Imitation? I'm going to have to cut this out. All right, fuck it. All right, so Alan published... Arn. If you know the meme, you understand what I'm saying. Alan Turing published computer mechanery and intelligence. Mason. God. I sound so stupid right now. Masonry. Why do I feel like I've never seen these words before? Computer masonry and intelligence. That's all I'm going to read about it. If you want to know more about it, 1952, a computer scientist named Arthur Samuel, see, that's easy, developed a program to play checkers, all right, which is the first to ever learn the game independently. And then John MacArthur held a workshop at Dartmouth on artificial intelligence, which is the first use of the word and how it came into popular usage. All right. That's actually funny. In 1952, the computer, because I do remember, I know there was video games in the 80s and everything, but that just reminds me of the scene in The Thing when he's Kurt Russell's playing against, well, that's chess, not checkers, but he's playing chess against a computer, and the computer wins. Just reminded me of it. Anyways, okay, AI. Let's see here. We got timelines from 1957 to 1979. I'm just gonna hit what I think is, maybe just a few good ones. Okay, so in 1958, John MacArthur created LISP, the program, the first program language for AI research, which is still in popular use to this day. Okay, so that's important. In 61, the first industrial robot started working on an assembly line in General Motors in New Jersey. Okay, so that's when, it's getting into the factories. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, 1979, James L. Adams created the Stanford cart in 61, which became one of the first examples of an autonomous vehicle, which is funny because just recently, or maybe not recently, but now we see you can get an Uber that drives, itself. And then you have the Teslas, obviously, that, you don't have to do anything to drive those ones. Never been in one. Probably won't, because just the thought of a self-driving car still is, I don't trust it. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like, I don't see crashes from those things daily. So whatever. We'll see. I guess if I get the opportunity, maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see here. So we have something called, in this article, it's artificial general intelligence. That brings us to the most recent developments in AI up to the present day. We've been we've been in a surge in common use of AI tools such as virtual assistants, search engines, etc. This time period also popularized deep learning and big data. All right, so let's see here. In 2012, two researchers from Google trained a neural net to recognize cats by showing it unlabeled images and no background information. Interesting. In 2015, Elon Musk, Stephen Hawkins, and Steven, can't pronounce that now, Wazanska, okay, signed an open letter to the world's government systems banning the development of autonomous weapons for the purpose of war. Whoa, what? Signed an open letter to the world government systems banning the development of autonomous weapons for the purposes of war. Okay, but all right, so okay, just because they signed an open letter to the world's government systems banning the development, but does that really mean that the so here's the thing, right? Is that okay? They banned the system, like the world's governments from the use of okay, but I feel like bad people are still going to do bad things. You know what I mean? Where okay, even though that these people sign something saying, hey, you can't do this. Okay, well, you don't own AI. You don't own, like Elon Musk, Stephen Hawkins, all these, they don't own you. You can't. And I mean, I guess I get where you're getting at, where it's like, okay, well, the first comes Sky. And I'm sure you guys were thinking the exact same thing too, is if you have AI within weapon systems, who's to say that they wouldn't turn on the people that's using them? So, I mean, this is interesting. This might be, you know what? Hold on one second. Let's, I'm going to open up another search. Give me a couple seconds. Let's see here. When was that? Elon Musk. I'm going to just take that sentence, Control-C, and put it in the search engines. And see what comes up. Okay, so it looks and this is from The Guardian, and they have a picture, like I put that that whole sentence thing into the search and it got to the the Guardian website, and the picture that they have is of the Terminator in it. That's funny. All right, see, everyone thinks about the Skynet. James Cameron had a huge impact. All right, so let's see, let's actually read a little bit more about this. So over 1,000 high-profile artificial intelligence experts and leading researchers have signed an open letter warning of a military artificial intelligence arms race and calling for a ban on offensive autonomous weapons. The letter, presented at the International Joint Conference on Artificial Intelligence in Argentina, was signed by the people that I had already mentioned. The letter states, AI technology has reached a point where the development of autonomous weapons is practically, if not legally, feasible within years, not decades, and the stakes are high. Autonomous weapons have been described as the third revolution in warfare, after gunpowder and nuclear arms. Authors urge that AI can be used to make the battlefield a safer place for military personnel, but the offensive weapons that operate on their own would lower the threshold of going to battle and result in greater loss of human life. Should one military power start developing systems capable of selecting targets and operating autonomously without direct human control, it would start an arms race similar to the ones for the atom bomb. The authors urge, unlike nuclear weapons, however, AI requires no specific hard to create materials and will be difficult to monitor. The endpoint of this technological trajectory is obvious. Autonomous weapons will become the I don't know. Tomorrow they keep The key question for humanity today is whether to start a global AI arms race or to prevent it from starting, said the authors. Interesting. At the UN conference in Geneva in April, discussing the future of weaponry, including the so-called killer robots, the UK posed a ban on the development. Okay, long story short, what I'm getting at, or I guess what's going on here is that I don't think there is a ban. I think it's just, smart people are like, hey, let's not let AI onto the battlefield unless it's for defensive purposes. Only offensive, you can't do that. But like I said, bad people are gonna do bad things. Is there a ban on AI in war? Okay, so I mean, Google's AI says no, there's no global ban on the use of AI in warfare. While there is growing movement and calls for restrictions on certain types of AI-powered weapons, particularly autonomous weapon systems, there's no universal agreed upon prohibition. Interesting. Okay. So but that's AI saying that. AI is sneaky, Let's see here. Yeah, so we're gonna go with that. There is no ban right now for AI being used during war. For anything, really. So you can use it offensively, defensively. Is that good? I mean, defensively, I think, again, like the fact that it can problem solve and it could, generate answers for you more quickly, I think is good. But I think when it comes to war, I wish Clark was here, because he has a military science degree and everything like that, so he could maybe expand a little bit more on this as far as like, tactics and everything. But just the fact that I think you want your people in the military to be able to think for themselves and not rely on a program to help them problem solve for things. Does it help? Yes. But at the end of the day, I think you want individuals that can think for themselves and can, problem solve and everything like that. You don't want, I guess you don't want to be too reliant on any system. I think there's a redundancy within the military. I think I would imagine, maybe, I don't know. But that, okay, use AI, okay, I think using it as like, okay, let me think for myself. Let's just say people are trying to, you're in a fort or something like that. And it's like, okay, AI, where do you think we should, best put our defenses, or, where should we build our walls bigger? And AI says this, okay. And then it's like, all right, yeah, that's not bad. But is there other things that AI is not taking into consideration? Because, I mean, the term "think outside the box" I think comes up a lot. I think on the documentary of I think it was called 2 Weeks in Hell. Yeah, that I think the History or Discovery Channel put on about the special forces. I think you always heard the cadre and people talking about like thinking outside the box, because I think one of the tests that they had to do was to like carry a drum. Now again, this was years ago that they made this show. I don't know. I'm sure they've made other documentaries too, but it showed, if I remember correctly, they showed them trying to haul like a drum, like 100-pound drum or something. I could be wrong, but it was like, regardless, there was heavy stuff, and they had to like build a wagon. And the wagon only had, I think, one wheel, and it was only half of the pieces that you would need to get the thing to work. And it was problem solving and thinking outside the box. Like, is AI going to be able to think outside the box and give you multiple, I guess, solutions for one problem, or is it going to stick with one thing? I mean, I guess you could say like, all right, here's the material that I have. How is the best? I have this many people. How can I carry this the most efficient way? But is AI really going to know what the most efficient way is? I mean, I guess that what it's doing, because I've heard people say that like if you just hook up, or if you let AI scour the internet, I guess it's taking information from a bunch of different sources. But I guess the problem is okay, so if AI is not connected to any sort of like internet or data, how is it gonna know? See, that's just a weird thing. Is like how's it gonna know based on? I mean, it would have to have some sort of data. Like it would have to have like a starting point of knowing what to look for, I guess. So I guess, because if you are thrown into a situation, like let's say that wagon situation, you're presented with that. And if you have no prior knowledge, no nothing, you have to start thinking outside the box. If you throw AI into that situation with no experience, how long is it going to take to... Is it going to take longer to like try to figure out a solution? Or for you, because you have past experience, the AI does not, and anything like this. I'm getting off on a kind of a tangent right now. I kind of forgot where or why. It was the ban on AI in war and everything like that. So yeah, we'll get back on track, but it's just something that you think about. Just is it going to be able to problem solve, I guess, without from like starting at ground zero? I guess that's my question. So I don't know. And so we're gonna move on to a kind of a different area now. We're gonna be talking about like the benefits and the repercussions of some AI. Oh, excuse me. I don't know if you caught that. I totally burped. Sorry. Anyways, so we're gonna go into first. We're gonna go into some risks, especially with the younger generation, and just how this may affect them. And there's something called childtrends.org, and this is where I pulled it from. So we're just gonna kind of see what they're proposing. We're gonna read a little bit about it, and then we'll go on to some of the benefits. And then, yeah, keep on moving. So I guess from January 23, and this is from childtrends.org. So from January 23 to March of 24, multiple entities have published guidance on artificial intelligence, underscoring growth public concerns regarding AI governance. Meanwhile, as federal and state legislators weigh the need for AI regulations to safeguard the public from various risks, recent disclosure about AI risk has overlooked the use of AI by children and their families or caregivers. This gap is widening as students increasingly turn to AI for homework assistance and interact with AI-generated content, including images and videos, and as caregivers, including both parents and educators, attempting to use AI to foster children's engagement. Drawing on lessons from a recent child trend study on the capabilities of AI systems, we propose stronger guidance and regulations to ensure rigorous assessment on particular harm by AI systems in contexts involving children and families. So this is interesting. So they're stating that kids are using, or the interaction between homework assistance and AI generated content, images and videos. So I'll be the first to say that I'll use AI to help generate some of our thumbnail images. It just helps. It's so fast and streamlined, and it's really interesting to see what the AI comes up with. So again, like I use it. We use it here at That's Effing Weird. It's fun. But again, like the homework assistance. Now I feel like this one is pretty big. And I feel like if there's a way that you could bridge that AI assistance, like if there was an AI tool that could give like partial answer but not all of an answer, like let's say you had to write a 1-page book report on I don't know, name anything, dinosaurs, right? It would be nice if the schools had AI that could help get the students to that, like to get it to write themselves, like, okay, here's a synopsis, or here's a paragraph about how you can write, or the area on, or how you should write your book report, not necessarily giving the answers, but like almost kind of like this show. Okay, I'm gonna do the history, the pros, the cons, and then the future. Boom, there's your 4 paragraphs right there. That takes up an entire page. Okay, and then AI could give like a list of books. I'm sure there's a program, or this may already be in use. I don't know. I'm not in school, so I don't know. But again, AI is not regulated or anything like that. So I get it. So kids could just go to ChatGPT and have AI do that. And then it's almost like the internet, where it's like, okay, do you put an age restriction on these things? Do you make it to where you have to be 18 or older to use this? It's just, I think it boils down to, the person and maybe the parents too, or the family, where it's like, okay, is this now a parent's responsibility to ensure that the kids are doing their homework? Well, I mean, yeah, that's obvious, but then is it the parent's responsibility to double check and make sure that the kid's not using AI? And how do you determine, I guess, if something's been written by AI? So here's something too that, like, I feel, and I'm sure most of you can contest to this too. Like, AI generated images and videos, they are good, but there is something that is off about them. Things are almost like too perfect. The AI, like, and I'm sure it's going to change because it's changing very, rapidly. But especially with videos, it hyper focuses. It does that, like, background where it's all blurry and then it's really super focused on the person talking. I feel like AI uses it generates videos as if everyone is using like a Canon camera and not like a cell phone. And there's not like that graininess, or there's not that like kind of shitty quality to it. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I think too, if you know what I'm getting at. There's just that little piece where it's just like something doesn't seem right. I think images definitely are a little bit harder to distinguish, because they're not moving. And cameras, like even cell phone cameras now, have that, like, blur the background, focus on the one up front, or the object up front. So I think images are a little bit harder. Videos are getting there where they're a little bit harder to distinguish. And again, I've seen a handful of videos where they look real. Like, there's street interviews, and it's like, no way that's AI. And you just don't think about it. And especially, like, again, I'm getting off on a little bit of a rant, but especially like with doom scrolling, like, videos have to be like 15 seconds or less. And if they're more than that, they lose your attention. And the fact that, we have such like, okay, got it, moving on. I feel like a lot of people aren't catching it, or AI can get away with a lot more. Whereas if we didn't have to take in, or if we weren't one of these, like, just scroll and move on, like the death scrolling stuff, if we wanted videos that were a minute, 2 minutes, I think we all could distinguish AI just a little bit better. But the fact that it's just so rapid and we're taking in all this information, I think that doesn't help. But as far as, we'll get back on the topic of like kids using AI for homework and everything, again, it's just one of those things where, like, again, as a kid, you just want to pass. You know what I mean? Like, I remember that in school. Like, I remember having to write papers and struggling. I mean, obviously, like, shit, my reading's terrible. That's on me though. But I guess what I'm getting at is that if I had a tool back in the day that like guaranteed that I could pass, like, I'm sure I would have used it. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I feel like it takes the parent though to like sit down with the kids. And I get it, parents are busy too. It's tough, being a parent, having a family, all that things, they're tough. It really is. But you have to, I guess, prioritize it. You can't blame AI. AI is just there. It's just a thing. You know what I mean? It's just like, you can't blame everyone for everything. You know what I mean? back on topic, but it's just, I just feel like it's one of those things where, and especially as a kid too, like so much is put on you in high school. Like you're expected to, at least in the States, I don't know where it is for everyone else, but you're expected to decide your entire life when your brain hasn't even fully developed. And that's scary because like these kids go to these universities not knowing what they want to do, having to pay back thousands and thousands of dollars of student debt, and because they didn't know what to do. But everyone was going to college, so hey, I'll go to college too. So it's just, what am I getting at here? I think it's just it you want to succeed, and you want to, there's a lot of responsibility and a lot of like the weight of the world on your shoulders when you're so young. And if using AI meant that I could get good grades, go to school that I wanted to, then why wouldn't you use it? But I think what it comes down to, again, for the states, and not, I don't think every state does this too, but like the SATs, like you're sitting in a classroom, paper test, no computer, no nothing. So you have to use your brain and everything like that. And if you've been using AI, that's going to reflect. So I think that's like, I'm not going to say a fail safe, but that's, I think, paper tests and having to do things like right then and there on the spot. So I guess if teachers were like, okay, hey, this is what we're doing, is we're going to watch, this movie, and then tomorrow in class, we're going to spend the entire time writing, or we're going to spend like half the time and you're going to write a 1-page paper on this. Okay, you're right then and there, you're having the kids use their brain, coming to think about this. That may be a way to kind of combat it in the school systems. I don't know. But yeah, that is kind of a scary thought. I didn't even think about that, as far as if you were to use AI your entire, high school career, and then you go take some test where you can't rely on it or use it to help you, then you're kind of screwed. Because I mean, okay, like I guess like calculators. I think you were able to bring the calculators to the SATs and everything. But that's you just knowing how to use a calculator, because you could punch in an equation into AI, whatever the problem is, and it's going to spit it out. Whereas a calculator, you have to know how to use it. So I guess what I'm getting at with all of this is that this is a very, it's a weird area where it's almost like video games, I feel like too, where it's like it's the parents' responsibility to not let their kid play violent video games. But if a kid can distinguish between reality and the video game world, then okay. And then also too, like, not spending hours and hours playing games when you do have homework and everything else. I think you can use AI to help assist you. And that's just now you're leaving, you want to the states to regulate AI, like where it's like, okay, why not say that about everything then? Like, why not the internet? So it's such a weird, and I feel like AI is going to grow so fast and too fast that by the time we come up with something on how to regulate it, it's going to be so far gone. You know what I mean? And like the internet though, like the internet has boomed and we still don't know. Like there's still the arguments where it's like, well, do we let kids, do this, do that? Cyberbullying. I mean, cyberbullying, I don't think it's probably still a thing, but I think it was more relevant when it was first coming up. I'm not saying that it's not, but I feel like I don't hear so much about cyberbullying anymore. So maybe it stopped. I don't know. But see here, we'll see what we propose that the federal and state regulations mandate proper assessment of 3 aspects of AI systems to minimize the potential risks of AI to children and families. First, regulators should mandate AI assessments that are capable of distinguishing between AI systems that can reliably handle both simple and complex subjects. Those that cannot. Our experience with the AI systems created for our study illustrates the needs for safeguards so that AI tools and systems meant for young people, from chatbots to virtual reality devices, can be trusted to not generate images or suggestions that are harmful, dangerous, or unethical. Second, we propose that regulations underscore that it's critical for AI assessment to consider the development, safety of AI generated content for different age groups and specific contexts, and as explained above, the capability of AI systems to handle complex subjects should be a part of the determination of development appropriateness and safety. Let's see here. The third, we propose that the regulations mandate continuous quality improved for AI systems using such processes as regular license renewal, because training data evolves over time and can make existing versions of AI systems outdated. During child trends assessment in the two AI systems in our study, we found that one model couldn't recognize something due to its outdated training data. Latin X, due to its outdated. This limitation has significant real-world consequences for children trying to understand their world. Okay. Culture, norms, and language are constantly emerging and changing, considering terms such as woke, cisgender, equity, as communities work to create a more inclusive society for children and families as they engage in furious debates over issues of race, gender, ideology, and religion. Changes in culture, norms, and framing underscore the need to monitor and refine AI systems on an ongoing basis to ensure that they remain relevant, accurate, inclusive, evolving. Okay, yada, yada, yada. Okay. That's what childtrends.org, that's what they were proposing. So I guess with that being said, I mean, I don't know. I just, again, it's okay. Yeah, like the world is changing, but again, I think I'll always die on that hill where it's like, okay, it's the parents' responsibility to make sure that their kids understand, and like it's uncomfortable. I get it. Like, you know, you don't want to have these tough conversations, but don't you think it a little bit falls on the parent? You know, like, I don't know. It's just, I think you need to separate some stuff too. Like, I think there needs to be some sort of, okay, if you're gonna have you can let AI. I think this is another thing. I'm just trying to collect all my thoughts right now. I don't think you should be afraid of AI, and it's a useful tool, and I think it can be useful, and we'll get onto that in the next little bit here. Is that it does have benefits. And I think if you're struggling, like, you know, that writer's block or whatever, you know, use AI. Like, hey, I'm trying to write a 1-page paper on dinosaurs. What should I write about? Or like, give me a framework of how I should write this paper. Then okay, but again, it needs to be something where it's like, okay, schools let kids use AI, but like limit it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, we're gonna help you. Like essentially be it like a little assistant, but it's not giving you the answer. I think that's just the world we live in. You know what I mean? Where, because I remember growing up in high school and just school in general, and just always being frustrated at taking tests. And because my thought process was, okay, if I need an answer, or if I need to figure something out, I'm gonna look it up. And it's true. You don't, and I understand it's like the reason why you take a test is, can you apply the knowledge that you've learned? Yes or no? But I don't feel like that is necessarily the world that we 100% live in, where it's like, yes, test, but I guess test in a different way. Like, okay, applying the knowledge that you've learned. Okay, so I guess for math, if you're doing a volume thing, like, okay, rather than sitting there with a piece of paper figuring everything out, all right, here's your actual 2 buckets of water. You have a 3 I have a 3-gallon bucket and a 5-gallon bucket. You need to make 4 gallons. Let's try to make this work. Like actually applying it. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas. I think it's one of just those things where it's like, you can't be afraid of it. It's here. It's not going away, obviously. So I think I think this is what they're trying to do too, is like try to figure out a way that we can, work with it and everything. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's going to be tough to try to regulate something like this, but we'll keep on moving. We're going to go on to, let's see here, onlineuc.edu. This is your University of Cincinnati online, but that's the actual website. We're just gonna talk about. We're not actually gonna get into the actual like what each one says, unless I guess we'll go through the list and we'll see what each one says. So they say that enhanced healthcare, boosted economic growth, climate change, migration, advanced transportation, customer service excellence. We're going to look at that one. I'm kind of interested in that one. Science discovery, obviously. Enhanced financial services, okay. Improved agriculture, enhanced cybersecurity. Now, all of these seem like, okay, yeah, like no-brainer. Enhanced healthcare. Let's see what that one says. AI-based solutions could improve invaluable in the field of healthcare in so many ways. AI could be used, for example, to assist researchers in developing cures and treatments for illnesses that have plagued mankind for years. It could also be used for administrative tasks like test analysis and data entry, or more procedures. In the future, we may even have AI-powered robots performing surgeries, reducing human error and saving lives. So, like, yeah, like that. Again, where it's like, you're using AI to help you, like, against data entry. That's huge. If you could just, talk or see trends, or like somehow have AI assist you in these numbers, that would help, cut down the workload on humans, that they have to do in like time, like where rather than sitting and entering numbers into a computer, have AI do it, and then you can give back to the patients. That makes sense to me. Robots performing surgeries, I don't know so much about that one. I recently had a filling, and it's just one of those things where the robot doesn't understand or know pain or feel pain. And sorry, I have a bug in my throat. And to me, there's always that, comfort level of, the dentist, at least for me. He was like, hey, if you have any more pain, or if you feel any more pain, just lift up your left hand and we'll give you another, shot or whatever, or more numbing, whatever it is. So there's that piece where the robot is just going to keep doing what it's doing. And if you, like, again, like everything kind of, robots fail, I know humans fail too. It's funny that I say that, because the feeling that I was doing was I was getting reworked on a feeling that had already been done. So there was that human error. That's funny that, wow, okay. So maybe robots wouldn't have that error. I don't know. But I think there's just that human aspect where it's like, can the human identify and see something that robots may not? You know what I mean? Like, okay, yep, you go in for an open heart surgery. You have to do X, Y, and Z for it to be successful. But what happens if you open up the chest and it's A, B, and C? Is AI going to know what to do? And it goes back to the thinking outside the box, where it's oh shoot, I have to think on the spot now. Hey, we need to do this. Is AI going to be able to recognize that? So again, I think it's going to start small, probably maybe just like stitching up a human, start something small, and then it'll probably progressively get more and more and more advanced. But definitely, I think the healthcare industry is really, I think they're going to be at the forefront of all that. So I think, yeah, and it may already be there. I don't know. But customer service excellence, number 5, I wanted to read that one. Multiple artificial intelligence benefits are evident in the customer service sector. For example, in the past, if customers had questions or complaints, they had to call a company and send an email and await a response. Now you can air their concerns with an AI chatbot and receive instant feedback thanks to natural language processing. Bull fucking shit. I'm going to put my foot down on this one. And I think everyone will agree with me that sometimes especially when it comes to like customer service, you want to talk to somebody because you're upset. I mean, more often than not, when you're calling customer service, you're probably upset, right? You want to voice your complaints to someone who's actually who you feel like is going to take your, complaint seriously. And when you talk to a chatbot, there's that loss of human interaction. So I think if you have general questions, then yes, because I will say this, I was traveling and I had to make sure that one of my credit cards or debit cards was good to travel through a certain area. And they were like, yeah, like I went on, used the bank's chatbot thing, and it was like, oh yeah, don't worry, we no longer need you to tell us when you're traveling, yada yada. So I was like, okay, well that's nice. And my question was answered right away. I didn't have to wait for a person. I didn't have to be caller number 30 in the queue or whatever. So that piece was really nice. I enjoyed that piece. But I don't think complaints are going to go over well. I don't think this is, and I think this is a scapegoat for companies. And again, you don't have to pay people. You just have to pay somebody to create this program that can take a complaint and then send it to somebody who will read it and then maybe get back to them. I don't think this is, I personally, and I don't know how you guys feel about this either, but I don't think that'll go over very well. I don't think that a complaint system voicing your complaint to a chatbot is going to go over. Again, and this might just be a generational thing. Maybe the younger generation will actually won't mind that. But I can tell you, when I'm upset with a service that promises something and then it doesn't follow through, yeah, I want to talk to somebody about it. So, Cincinnati, I think you need to update this, maybe take this one off. I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, that's some of the benefits that we have. And again, you guys might be thinking of some benefits too. Again, kind of like what I had said, for high school or just for schooling too, can help you problem solve in that. But I think they're thinking as a society, how is AI going to help us? How is AI going to benefit us? And I'd say all these are pretty accurate. Advanced transportation, yeah, that makes sense. Science discovery, scientific, So again, yeah, I think the fact that AI can, especially if it's hooked up to internet or if it has this large data bank and it can process data a lot faster than humans or find things a lot faster than us, I think that will definitely cut down on time as far as, looking things up to see what things might be and what they may not be. Enhanced cybersecurity. Again, I just think of Judgment Day. I think of Skynet when I think of that. What does it say for cybersecurity? Enhanced cybersecurity has been a hot topic in the tech world for a long time, particularly with the rapid increase in data breaches and the development of malware. For too long, cyber defense experts have felt like they're playing catch up with hackers and malware developers, but AI could change all of that. AI tech can introduce new ways to combat cyber threats and counteract the likes of hacking attempts. And viruses, AI programs, and defenses can be set up across devices, servers, and entire networks to spot attacks in advance and take the necessary steps to mitigate their negative effects. So yeah, I mean, okay, I guess the ability to have AI set up to spot these things is a lot better. So yeah, I can agree with that. I guess maybe that's not so much Skynet-ish, but I think when you just think of security and cyber and shit like that, you just think of Skynet. But yeah, okay, I'll agree with everything except for number 5, customer service excellence. Nah, chalk that one up as an L. That's false. Let's see here. There was a. Now we're gonna kind of go to um, the future of AI and what it kind of holds for humans. So this is straight from the Google's AI. So we're gonna take that. I think it's gonna be interesting because we're getting AI to tell us what AI is gonna do in the future, which I think is interesting. So we're gonna read from it. There's a little goes all the way up to, let's see here, 2040. So we're gonna, and it's like 2 or 3 year increments. But anyways, so by 2025, that's what we're in right now. Autonomous agents will perform complex tasks. Hybrid workforce with human and AI workers will emerge. Which I think we've seen that. I think in the Amazon warehouses, correct me if I'm wrong, but they have a lot of AI already working in there, like just stacking boxes, following little dotted lines, shit like that. So, okay, that's a W. You got that one. By next year, the first generation humanoid robots will enter commercial markets, and significant breakthroughs in robotics world models are anticipated. So by next year sometime, we're going to see humanoid robots on the commercial market, which I've already seen some things about that online for humans working in the home. So I don't know if that's what they're talking about for like commercial market. Not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they mean. So by 27, AI will be deeply integrated into various industries, becoming more AI first, particularly in the tech sectors. Obviously, some forecast even suggest AGI could be achieved around this time. What is AGI? I don't know what AGI is, but could be achieved around this time. By 28, shifts in the job market will occur, with potential job displacement in some areas, but also new opportunities in AI-related fields. By 29, AI's impact on knowledge work will become more pronounced, affecting areas like regulatory compliance and clerk work. Also midterm future. So by 2030, approximately 15% of jobs may be lost to by robots. But new roles will also emerge. Interesting. By somewhere between 2030 and 2040, robot production will significantly increase, but limitations due to rare earth material may persist. And then by 2040, humanoid robots could become more mainstream, and some experts predict AI systems will begin improving themselves without human intervention. There's a Antonio Banderas movie. I forgot what it's like, autonomous, something like that. Kind of the same concept. Like the world is like barren, and robots are kind of hanging around, and for whatever reason, like a handful of robots start building a new and better robot. This barren land. It's a really interesting movie. If you've never seen it, I would. It's like a thrill drama again. I mean, not like thrill. I would say like a sci-fi drama. There's not like a whole lot of action. There's some, and that's what I was expecting it to be. I mean, the cover is very deceiving. Antonio Banderas has a pistol, and so you think it's going to be all like bang bang bang, but it's not. I mean, there's some, but not a whole lot. Regardless, let's see what here. Long-term future, by somewhere between 2040 2060, full autonomous across most sectors is expected. Through the transition will be uneven. And then beyond 2040, some experts speculate about the possibility of augmented human intelligence and even the singularity, where AI surpasses human intelligence. I think you're already there. You kidding me? Like, I think AI has already surpassed human intelligence, if you ask me. I don't think it has, again, that ability to think outside the box. I think it needs... If it's not on the internet, it won't know. You know what I mean? Like, it knows a lot. Don't get me wrong. Like, it knows more than me. And it can actually speak better than me. But it can't think outside the box like me. So... That's kind of where we're heading to in the future of AI. So, yep, today we kind of, again, we broke everything down as far as, history of AI, some of the ramifications, good, bad, and then the future of what AI kind of holds. Again, I just want to bring up some stuff about AI that, I don't think we have to be afraid of it, but I do think that there needs to be that understanding. And there needs to be that, I feel like it's like the internet. I feel like you shouldn't regulate it, but you just need to know how to work with it to the best of your ability. Again, I do think it's pretty far gone. I'm going to play an audio clip at the end here. It's from a news, and then you guys can stew on that the rest of your day. I'm just going to try to find it. I think it's like a minute or two, so we'll transition out with that. Hope you like what you heard. If you did, stay tuned. We always got a lot of stuff cooking up here, and that's effing weird. This is season 2. Don't forget that. We're on a brand new season. We're going to be trying some new stuff out. Hope you like it. You got any suggestions, you can shoot us an email. You can come over to our Discord. Check out us on Podbean. If you want to rep some of the closing, we have a Zazzle account. I'll try to make sure that I put all this stuff on the description, so it's just a one-click and done. But just remember that old thing that we have here, that it's we don't want stuff that's normal. We want stuff that's effing weird. And again, I'm gonna let you listen to this clip. Have a good day. Mwah!
AI is learning to escape human control. That's the very scary headline I saw in the Wall Street Journal. It's an essay written by a very worried AI consultant named Judd Rosenblatt, who cites 2 recent studies to argue that AI is, in fact, learning to escape human control. First, this is crazy stuff. Researchers gave OpenAI's O3 model a simple script that would shut off the model when triggered. In 79 of 100 trials, the AI model independently, just on its own, edited the script so the shutdown command would not work. Nate, it gets worse. Even when ordered, allow yourself to shut down, the AI still disobeyed 7% of the time. And it gets even more frightening than that. Other researchers, listen to this, using Anthropic's AI model Claude 4 Opus, told the model it would be replaced by another AI system. It then fed fictitious emails into the system suggesting one of the engineers was having an affair. Got it? In 84% of the tests, the AI model drew on the emails to blackmail the engineer to not shut down the AI model.
What?
Wow.
Okay, so here, I'm quoting now from Judd. In other cases, the AI model attempted to copy itself onto external servers. We're in Mission Impossible land here. Wrote self-replicating malware and left messages for future versions of itself about the need to evade human control.
The entity.
The entity is real.
Yes. And that's why so many people, and when I say people, me, are worried about AI.
I'm worried.
This
That is scary stuff.
Yeah.
Told you.